Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the RGL cast. My name is Jared, and I'm here with Space Ghost to bring you guys Globalclan Ice versus Witness Gaming. This is RGL Invite 6's Season 6, Week 7A. We're nearing the end of the regular season and closer to the playoffs. Still, race is still going on. Both these teams are trying to solidify things the best they can, and a win tonight will definitely be good in each of their books. How you doing, Space Ghost?
I'm doing good, and I'm excited for this match. This should be a very good, very close match and a good one. And also, this match has a lot of important determinations for playoff seeding.
Yep. As we get closer to the end of the season, it becomes more and more clear exactly what these matches really entail for both these teams. For the side of Witness Gaming, a victory here will solidify themselves as the second seed, or if they lose this match, there is a chance that things will even out and it'll have to be forced to rounds when you compare them in Ford Gaming, and they can be pushed down to third. Obviously, both teams will play each other, second and third seed, in playoffs, but the team that gets second gets a little bit more control during the map ban phase, so might get the tiebreaker map if it comes to it during the playoff race or during playoffs themselves into your favor, which is always nice. So trying to secure that for themselves is Witness Gaming. For the side of GCI, for the most part, they're solidified as the fourth seed, although there is technically, a path open for a team to swoop in. I think so far the team that's been looking like if it's going to be them, if anyone at all, is going to be the Jug Dealer, so I have to keep an eye out for them. I think they still technically have a path open to swoop in and take Globalclan Ice's spot, although it's a very rough one. And for GCI, they don't need to win this match, but a match won here would make things even more rough.
On Robot for a second. Hopefully,
Unfortunate.
yeah. Well, yeah. For GCI, as you said, we do have we do. They're not solidified 100% yet. If they beef really hard, they could miss playoffs, but they're gonna have to. As long as they get rounds, honestly, they should be good, and they have a couple easier matches on the board. But this is gonna be an important match because if they get 5-0'd here, that's gonna be tragic. And furthermore, previously they had you know, if you watched earlier in the season, GCI actually had a surprise upset against this very team, Witness Gaming, on a process, I believe. So I'm curious to see if they if they just kind of counter Witness Gaming, or if that was just kind of a fluke.
Yep. Some time has passed, so it's going to be curious to see how both teams have kind of changed. And it's going to be quite a stark contrast when you compare, the previous map of Process to Gully Wash. I think one thing before we get too far ahead of ourselves is, especially because people are throwing predictions, it's important to talk about the rosters, make sure everyone is on the same page with who's showing up today. If you're showing up late, I think for everyone that's been watching, you can kind of be rest assured that it's the same. It's the same players as it usually is, but it's still important to go over for people coming in late or a little bit new to what's going on. So I'll go ahead and go over the Witness Gaming roster. It is Yite and Brand Slam on Scout, Laz and Ash on Soldier, Artist on Demo, and Lull Guy on Medic.
And for Globalclan Ice, we have Catface and Caps on Scout, Recruso and Sin on Soldier, Sin Karma on Demo, and May on Medic.
A lot of talent on both these teams, and it makes sense because both these teams are pretty well projected going into playoffs, and it's not necessarily guaranteed that both these teams will play each other when playoffs actually happens, assuming they both get in, but at the very minimum, it's a nice showcase between both these teams. Like we said before, the comparison to how you do in the beginning of the season, compare it to how you do later on in the season. You can kind of see how teams progress and get better, or maybe even worse if you're really unlucky for yourselves, but it's a bit of a revenge story for the side of Witness Gaming. Like we mentioned before, that process game, things didn't really work out in their favor, had some troubles. Globalclan Ice came out on top with the upset win. It was a pretty convincing win. If that wasn't like a 5-1 or a 5-0 or something like that on process.
I think it was a 5-0.
Yeah, it was a pretty clean sweep, if I do say so myself. It was a long time ago, though. A lot can happen in the span of almost 2 months for the most part. And especially, like we said before, it's such a contrast in the comparison of maps. We're on Gully Wash now, which can favor classes in a much more different way, and teams for that matter, depending on who you're going to be relying on when you go into mids and fights and things like that, trying to bring out a solid victory for your team. So really curious to see who the star players are going to be when we come out here on Gully Wash and start to get some rounds going. Space Ghost, when you think about MVPs for this team, like predictions on who's going to do really well, what names on both these teams really come to mind?
I think for the side of GCI, I think Sin Karma is a pretty standout player. I think Sin Karma, especially on a map like Gully, has a lot of potential, but I do think one thing to note is that Goalie is also a very powerful soldier map, and the soldier can kind of keep the demos in check if they're able to get a lot of early pressure and bombs off. And that's another kind of pair that I think has the potential to do really well is Laz and Ash on Scout. Or not Scouts, excuse me, Soldier. I think that them versus Rakusa and Sin should be a very interesting battle.
And in the same vein, because it's much easier on soldiers and you can have at least a comparison, it's not as rough of a time to try to get something off for your team and, find some success with your bombs. It puts a lot of stress on your scouts to be able to make sure they're playing as efficiently as possible and actually denying a whole lot of the things that the enemy's trying to do versus your team. So I think it's important to definitely watch the scout matchup. So we've seen a lot of star plays from, I think both Catface and Yite have been like the playmakers for their team, where they can kind of like pop off and do something to salvage or bring themselves into a better situation than they were previously. So I'm curious to see if they're going to be able to do it on a map that doesn't necessarily favor their class to the same extent as some other maps do. But we've had some time for both both these teams to get situated, and everyone in the chat to go ahead and put their predictions in on what they think is going to happen in this match. Some things it's leaning a little bit more Witness favor. Looks like people are thinking that they're going to get their revenge this time around. But Space Ghost, is your prediction for this match? What do you think is going to happen at the end of the day?
I think Witness is going to take it in the end, but I do expect it to be close. I am expecting like a 5-3, 5-2 for Witness, but I'll say that it might be close, but the rounds could kind of go either way, because you can have a close match that doesn't necessarily look so on the scoreboard on Goalie. Sometimes you just like lose a mid or two, and then you have a really back and forth round that is dominant maybe for you, but doesn't show up on the scoreboard.
True, that's definitely very possible. I'm kind of in the same boat. I feel like Witness are probably slated for their revenge just based on their recent performance. That upset is the only upset I think they've had this entire season. They've been pretty stable, and especially on Gully Wash, they've shown pretty solid performances, especially against Froyo. That was the big one, I think, where they almost beat them, about 4-5. So really, really close gameplay. Whereas I think GCI have been more shaky than usual. They've been having some rough games, and they had an upset loss recently versus, I think it was Cat Posse in a COD map.
They had a little bit of an oopsie.
They lost to a Ford Gaming that wasn't necessarily in practice. They had like some trouble scrimming, so they weren't really in full force and weren't able to come on top of that. So they've had some rough points as of late in the past couple months, but I mean, or not months, sorry, weeks. That doesn't necessarily mean that something to the same caliber is exactly going to happen tonight. So there's still some possibilities, but when you're talking about favorites, I would definitely agree that it's looking pretty good for Witness, at least so far.
Yeah, I think GCI is much more of a wild card team, whereas Witness Gaming is more consistent. I think the core of Witness Gaming have been around in some shape or another for a very long time. Whereas GCI is kind of, there's a lot of old established players on there, but I don't think that particular roster necessarily has as much cohesion as Witness Gaming.
The only real synergy I think Rakuso and Caps have been a flank duo for maybe like a year now or something, or at least it's been a while, but that's about it. At least I think for like long-term synergy.
Yeah. Rakusa's played with a lot of players, so he has synergy with a fair amount of the invite.
Yeah, but that's definitely going to play a factor, because Gully Wash can be the dynamic for flank is slightly different, because there's only necessarily 2 doors to really go through if you're not counting drop down when you're transitioning through points. So it's a little bit different when you're thinking of a map like Process previously, where there's only there's 3 different doors you can go through to do flank plays and stuff. But we are going live to see what is going to happen in the very first minute, set the pace for the game, and see who's going to come out on top and maybe take the first round after all is said and done. Go ahead and watch these demos try to throw spam into big door, trying to get some damage for their team.
Early bomb on Laz on that Sin Karma, and he's actually going to clean him up. The Laz is behind in choke, doing a lot of pressure, but it looks like red team elected to go on blue side, and that did not work. Sin Karma's kind of left out to dry.
That's quite a collapse. I didn't even see that. I was looking at the other side of the mid, so that's a very early demo death that just spiraled out of control. With only 2 players left alive for the side of GCR, able to work their way back to last. Blue team's kind of poking at their door and making sure that they're causing some chaos, spamming guns if they exist, but not going to find anything. But I think at the end of the day, that's just going to be a mid and a free second for the side of Witness Gaming to take, as they have the Uber ready to try to poke around and see if they can get some positioning to get a force out of GCI.
Yeah, GCI should at least have some consolation that their medic does have full Uber, so expecting some sacks to come here. I'm curious to see whether they double sack or just single sack at a goalie last. Goalie last, kind of a... Oh, Laz actually
picking
dropped
a
him in
Laz.
time. Yeah, I don't know if that was that might have been a sack attempt that just went a
I think
little awry.
they picked him in lobby, actually. Look at his gun. They're just on the move in lobby as well. Rakusa trying to make some play, and Baby Door going to get shut down by Yite. So, going to be 1-for-1, able to get that pick, but not necessarily a counter sack in their favor. Have a gun still alive. Where is he moved it to? Okay, he's putting it right next to the combo, but it's going to get shot a little bit in the build phase. Will survive at least for now, so still have to worry about this gun if they want to get a sack attempt off. Going for the point. Yeah, Yite went through water, so a little bit of a play there, some distraction and spam to try to get some players hurt there. Getting down the gun at least a little bit. They have to get this down if they really want to try to commit.
Underneath the point, I think they're trying to escape now. It looks like yeah, okay. So Laz is still in water. I don't know if they know, and they finally do manage to get the gun down here. So Witness Gaming's pressure is really hard here. It looks like Yite's gonna go for another point pressure, but Rakusa is on the duty.
Oh, the Laz.
In the meantime, yeah, Laz gets the force.
Just the perfect distraction to be able to get that person in water to allow things to be opened up just slightly for Laz to be able to bomb through and get that force. So that will be a 2-man at the end of the day for that force, which they're totally fine with. Red team actually not on the move at all. A little bit too weak to actually start pushing and prodding to see if they can get a force of their own. Gonna just go ahead and sit back, stay on Laz, make sure they have everyone alive for the upcoming blue push. They got the NG still up on the gun, rebuilding it after it died previously. So they're getting ready for their defense to see if they can prevent the first round going to the side of Witnesses. It looks like lobby is the way they're going to choose this time. Might have been river, but I think it's going to be...
they spotted it.
Yeah, they've spotted it for now, but it's still
May
picking a door. They're running out of time,
May
honestly.
has 80% already. This building is actually kind of crazy. I don't know if they're going to expect... They might already... Yeah, it looks like they're going to bump it, but May actually has Uber. They took so long with their full Uber ahead.
Yeah, a lot of people in spawn for the side of the red team, though. Laz getting on to the point that Uber will come out for the side of the red team, trying to chase down low guy. Drop to red HP, will drop in that Baby Door of area of woods. So just Artist and Yite left alive, trying to get out through the shutter. But Yite actually on the move through lower, getting onto the demo, get a lot of damage to Karma, able to collect that frag, but will die for. He's gonna be a-okay with that. But yeah, Witness Gaming, they had a good opportunity, but just took way too long to get that push off. So giving GCI a good opportunity to push out to 2 here, and probably not Arcs on to mid. Actually, blue team might want to push off the fact that Sim's
they're
dead.
gonna try to dry here because they have 30% disad. Why bother? Both soldiers close choke though, so there's a meat grinder and choke. It's the red soldier show, and they're... Ooh, there's an air shot at the end there just to make up for it. But that was a nice attempt from blue, but ended in disaster. It looks like, ooh, Sin's gonna actually get the med in the end.
And all they can really say for it is they were able to collect May. Laz getting that kill early on in the fight and actually still living somehow behind. But at the end of the day, just not quite enough to be able to get more than that. Expending too many resources for not enough frags, and GCI doing a good job at making sure that push was red and stuffed as probably as efficiently as it possibly could have. So free mid for them. I mean, I guess not completely free because they had to give up their medic for it, but realistically things are going to kind of even out. But now they're actually in a position to try to dry push off the pick of the Laz dying super late, trying to bust through the choke. A lot of damage on both sides, but it's going to be both teams having one person. Okay, that's it. They only expended one, but it seems like it's going to be a rotation towards big door this time.
It looks like they do know. They're going to try to get through the door here. Rakusa going to get up top. He's going to get chased by 2 of them. Looks like Rakusa's just going to end up sacking here. Is Red elects the back up to take their... I don't even know if they... Actually, they're still kind of pressuring. They have another scout behind, excuse me.
Trying to cause a little bit of chaos. He's a-okay with the pack, so still trying to see if he can get anything good. I think he's just waiting for now. He wants to find the perfect opening, but have a bomb coming in from Sin, trying to create some damage, able to collect a kill onto Ash. Caffey's going to initiate in onto the flank, and that's going to actually create enough room. Yeah, going to get forced. So Uber Change will come out, trying to get some damage onto Artist. He will get flashed at the very last second, but this positioning is kind of rough on the side of the blue team. But actually, Cap is all left alone. They weren't as deep as the rest of the team, and a bomb on May. Laz able to get one last rocket off, able to collect that kill. 2 left alive for the side of the right team, trying to get out of choke, but they're unable to stop it because they're going for the plane, able to collect Wall Guy, going all in and being granted that frag. So salvaging at the end there, but overall a 1 fight from the side of Witness.
I think Rakus actually jumped on the scat's head and kind of just jumped off of his head to get over him. Very unfortunate timing for that scat. A very heads-up play by Rakuso. It looks like Red's gonna just push with their heal. Yeah, true. Gonna push with their heal advantage here.
Just trying to poke through the choke. Don't want to initiate too fast. If you have a heal advantage, you got to play pretty slow here. But Laz actually taking a lot of damage. But the trap onto May, I don't think they didn't watch for it like effectively as they could have initiating through that choke. So trying to dry through is going to be a bit unfortunate, immediately getting mulched in that way. So 1 scout left on the floor, able to collect the kill onto Branson. Lager is actually alone, but this height disad is probably too much.
Somebody stop this man.
He's 4 HP. He should get cleaned up, and he will. So he gets the frag under Brand Slam as he dies, pretty much. But at the end of the day, failed push from the side of GCI, granting Witness an opportunity to, I think they're actually going to, yeah, they're definitely going to prod their way into 2. No one's here at all. They completely wiped, so a lot of room for the side of the blue team to pretty much take this for free, and they actually have it's a really small ad to try to use into last. It's not necessarily guaranteed they're going to use it. It's only 20, but it does exist if they so desire.
Yeah, I was curious whether GCI's going to push out, and then I saw Sin Karma putting up, very sneaky traps on the point. I guess they decided not to. I'm curious to see whether blue takes this Uber ad or not. It's pretty tiny. I don't even know if they know it's Uber ad. I'd be surprised if they took it, but yeah, it looks like they were going to elect to just, chill and get some sacks.
I mean, last time they played this, they spammed down the gun and caused enough chaos to be able to force May, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're just fine doing that again. It looks like that's going to be the play. Laz bombing in, unable to hit the skip, getting sent down to the cat face, so this 2-man will not necessarily find what they're looking for. Actually, Artist at the last second getting some spam and able to collect a kill on a cat face, but Sin actually going for the force. Yeah, they lingered in lobby a long time after that 2-man, allowing Sin to be able to get through and get that force on the low guy. So it's actually going to be the other way around, where GCI are able to get in with their counter initiation to get that force and have their Uber ad once their players spawn to be able to push out onto their own 2.
Yeah, this is, even though Red has full Uber ad here, this is going to be kind of tough, because you always have to be worried about the backcap on goalie. It's very easy to backcap this, and it looks like Artist is electing to lock down the shutters while the rest of blue has to take up top. Looks like we're going to see a bomb from Sin here to make space. We have 2 people in Baby Door, and Laz gets caught out, but he does get the force in the end.
Yep, only expending 1, and Sin Karma trying to get through the shutter a little bit late, but Arts is still watching that trap, so able to collect that demo frag. That's going to make blue team want to push in early. Well, they don't even have their Uber quite yet. There's no stickies, there's nothing to worry about. Spare the spam of the soldiers who are already jumping away, trying to initiate onto these scouts that are lingering in, and both scouts will fall, so no...
I think Mercuso's going to go for the back cap here. Yeah, it looks like he's going to get it too. Very heads-up play again from Mercuso. He's going to get the back cap and kind of stuff this last push.
That definitely single-handedly saved their team, because otherwise they'd just be capping last right now, but they have to go ahead and send people back all the way to make sure this cap goes off. So try to lock down the spawn, but there's a little bit too much for them to handle. Able to get through for the side of the red team. Both scouts have respawned, trying to chase down Artist, but he will live at the end of the day, getting an arrow to be able to make sure he's healthy. Neither soldier has spawned quite yet, so there's a bit of an opening for the blue team to continue to spam, but as they spawn, they will go ahead and call it and make sure they cut their losses to live to fight another day. And actually, May in the driver's seat with an ad after all said and done. Lol guys, Uber not collecting that medic frag as they push into last and got back cap by Cruza, so on the move in the lobby to try to push out into 2 once again.
Yeah, this is a pretty decent ad here. Well, they kind of have to, go. I don't actually know if they're going to use it. They might not feel comfortable pushing out on a 30% ad, and they've been doing a good job so far holding goalie last, so I think they might be more comfortable here. Just elect to hold goalie last, and then, you can always talk about, like, what kind of risks they could take. Maybe if they lose, they might rethink about the decision not to push out there, but I don't blame them. Goalie last is pretty holdable, and, on even Ubers they can do something. Looks like they're going to get an early pick on Yite as part of the sack, so it looks like it's going to be a single sack now. Recruso's in.
Yeah, trying to go for the force, but Logai just in the corner, unable to be phased by that bomb, so no damage on him. 1-for-1 trade. Blue team still has an opening to try to do something. They still have both their spamming classes up, so they could try to go for this gun while Mercuso is unable to spam them back. Getting a lot of damage on the gun. Actually, will be able to collect that frag, and Laz immediately going into water. And actually, it's just a fake out for a bomb onto May. A little bit of a fake out to be able to collect that bomb, but to collect that force with that bomb. But Artist falling as well. I think he died in the shutter area, or at least in upper lobby. So no stickies for the side of the blue team, but I don't think red team is actually moving at all off of that pick. Even despite it being a demo def, they're fully content to just sit on last with their defense and try to make Witness Gaming, screw up a little bit with their last push. So going all on the defensive side of things and trying to spot things through shutter, at least poking around, trying to figure out where the gun is and things like that. But at the end of the day, River is going to be the door they want to push through.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to have to pop through the door right away, and a big bomb into the gun. They're going to be able to get it, but left spawn is not getting locked down here, so it looks like a lot of players from red are going to be able to get out of the spawn. You do have players contesting the point here.
Yep, you have a player in secret who will get cleaned up. That was Sin Karma. Both scouts ×4 on the point, able to make sure that is a very swift cap, and that is going to be the first round going for the side of Witness Gaming. A pretty clean last push, able to collect some frags with that Uber, get some positioning, and base people to a position they don't want to be in to get around on the board. But things have reset. We are going into another mid, so things can very easily change in the pace of the game depending on how things go.
Yeah, I'm watching Artist this mid. Curious to see what he does. He is trying to. Ooh, it's a pipe on the Mei, and Mei's just dead instantly. I'm curious whether Recurso is in their drop down, but they're kind of posted up looking. Yeah, Recurso did not stand a chance there. Yeah, well, Artist just hit the cross map pipe on the mid trying to walk up, and that was just it for Red's mid. It was just over.
Yep, it's a very, very swift victory early on. Just one pipe will do it, depending on how things go, and definitely a victory on their side for this mid. Not much you can really do there as a medic. I mean, there's so much spam to really dodge. I mean, you can just say, just dodge it, but it can be kind of rough. These things kind of happen. Sometimes you just eat a little bit too much spam, and it's enough for someone to initiate just a tad on to you to be able to collect that frag. So, once again, on last GCI with an Uber to get fought against, and going in as a side of blue team able to collect this gun.
A little bit, but Laz is going to be popping up on the point right now, and I don't think they're quite ready for him. They're going to have to send a bunch of people to the point, and Laz actually gets the kill here, and he almost caps single-handedly. It's just cat facing caps on heavy. Probably not long for this world, although the cat face heavy, he's so hurt. It's going to fall in the end, and that's another clean round for Witness Gaming. This time, mid to last instantly.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the heals was just a little bit too much for those last GCI players to handle. Just trying to play it really slow, make sure you chip away at people and regain that health to collect the second round on the board. But going in another mid, Witness Gaming so far have been pretty dominant, so GCI are in the spot where you need to try to adapt the best you can to make sure someone's not immediately melting. First it was Sin Karma, second time it was Mei, the third time, who knows? Actually, it's going to be Artist that's melting immediately, taking a page out of the enemy's book. Laz bombing in, getting some good damage on a Mei, surfing backwards, but Ash will fall up and collect that kill. So despite losing 3, they have salvaged, and actually Glowguy getting out, put themselves in a good position for after the mid fight, despite GCI able to collect their first mid of their own. So up, actually they're in upper is the blue team, getting the rest of their Uber, waiting for the respawn as red team. Not necessarily on the move, they need their medic to spawn before they feel comfortable doing anything, so it looks like it's gonna be a second to mid push for the side of Witness Gaming here. They got their Uber, got their players, just gotta pick which door they want to go through and, try to work their way through it.
Yeah, we do. Sin wasn't dropped on. I guess he's gonna elect to back up and get a buff here. But yeah, it looks like they're gonna take a big door here. Here comes an early bomb, and it looks like they were far enough back. They're able to get back out in time. They actually have GC has 2 players behind. Recruit's gonna get Gilda and Chook, and Catface is behind too. He's bringing people back. It looks like it's just a soldier right now. I don't know, that leaving a scout versus soldier might not be ideal here.
Yeah, but initiation coming from the red team, trying to bust their way through the choke. Sin's actually gotten completely behind, so it's created some chaos, but at the end of the day, not quite enough for them to get a back cap or a medic kill or anything like that. They still have Catface behind. They are aware of his existence, though. Might be a scout 1v1 upcoming right now.
They're gonna take the 1v1. Ooh. Yeah, too many arrows in MG.
But, yep, gonna be able to be successful in that regard is Yite, so they've kind of thwarted the attempt. GCI still have this Uber to work with, though. Mei was able to escape from the Uber earlier, trying to work their way through the choke, make sure they're wary of any traps like last time they went through choke.
Wow, that milk through choke. Both soldiers are so close, and they're able to get through choke without using. That's kind of crazy. The bomb in from the blue soldiers. Both soldiers ended up bombing in at Mei. They do get the force in the end, but they drop 3 for it. I don't know if it's gonna be worth it in the end. They're gonna just cat mid and roll to second.
Yeah, that's a pretty good Uber, collecting 3.
Actually, no, they're not rolling.
Yeah, I mean, they should be, or at least I'm kind of surprised they didn't roll that. Maybe they're just afraid of the Witness Gaming Uber. They know that they should have by now.
I want to go as a 6-man squad.
Okay, here they are. The high ground patrol is the blue team trying to delay for as long as possible before they're forced to use, and their hand has been forced. Artist jumping into the choke, trying to get some damage, able to pipe Mei and the scout inside, but not quite enough to be able to collect a kill. So the collapse will come from the red team, trying to land onto the combo of the blue team. Glowguy with the jukes, able to survive the bomb from Rakusa. Both scouts have fallen for the side of Witness Gaming, though, so it's going to be difficult to control height here as they're...
Blue is so hurt. They're all kind of, Glowguy backed up wisely, but his team didn't back up with him, so look, this is going to be a pretty clean second for GCI, and they have a pretty decent Uber at to work with 30%.
Yeah, GCI scattered pretty well in that Uber, so Witness Gaming unable to collect any frags and put themselves in a really awkward position for the post. And with no demo, that's a very late demo death. They don't have anything to fear peeking through choke. Mei's just actually eating damage as well. He's not even phased, and if they have their Uber ready to go now, they kind of got an eye for how the Witness Gaming hold is set up, and it looks like River is still the play they want to go for. 30% Uber ad, trying to work their way through. They're still not going.
They have a pyro and a gun. That's a little nervous. I don't know if they're actually gonna go now. They're kind of taking too much time here. I think they might have seen the pyro and gotten scared. I don't know what happened.
I guess they thought that they took too long. They made the judgment call. They took too long, even though they had a little bit of time left. But
They get
actually
two,
be a
though.
sack. Yeah, and they got the NG as well, so it's going to be a little bit more breathing room for them to be able to get this gun
Artist
down.
gonna
Actually,
drop really low and actually fall here. So if this is a push, this might be it. You know, Blue's down 3, and they don't have a demo. They should be able to just walk in here. They are gonna force early here, and Logai's gonna. Okay, he's gonna get forced in the end.
this gun, though, needs to fall if they're going to post this, but okay, they're going to go ahead and swap off, getting some positioning inside lobby. Is the red team going backing up? I think they've realized that exchange. It wasn't necessarily, it didn't go bad, but it didn't go good enough for them to actually, you know, full-on commit to the last, especially because blue team was respawning pretty soon, so we're going to want to make sure you get all your players together and, you know, just get situated, don't accidentally throw your attempt to push last in the garbage, and make sure you have a real definitive advantage to work with before you begin your push. Bomb for Rakuso, trying to get some damage to the gun, still being a thorn in their side, will eventually fall to some spam, but both the GCI players are falling, so that's going to be unsuccessful 2-man, and Witness Gaming are already on the move, trying to get some sort of counter stack going to get themselves out onto 2.
I think this is just a push. Yeah, red is really crappy respawns, and oh, look at that milk force from May. Oh, he actually doesn't even get the Uber. He dies. So this is gonna
All
be
the way
a full
across the map.
Yeah, full Uber ad from blue.
And so they're in a pretty good position.
They might go for back caps here, actually. Catface is
Catface
on
spy.
spy, going to last. Rakusa's in, trying to block second.
Oh, Artist found the spy, so a little bit of spy v demo MG on last, but the spy will fall. The Uber is out on the point of the second point, so Caps actually trying to go for this play at the very last second on the Logai, but
Oof,
it will
does get
be
Logai.
Rakuso that cleans up and makes sure that that frag is collected. So they expended a lot of players. The back half attempt did not find any success, but at the end of the day, they were able to salvage at the last second, be able to collect Logai. Sin Karma actually kind of spooky, almost died there, but still has enough health to survive things, although it's a little bit lopsided. His team is definitely in, but he is definitely not. I don't think blue team recognizes the demo isn't quite there yet, so they go ahead and, you know, play it safe, back up, don't want to, you know, risk too much, but it's actually gonna be a dry push through choke, as they've noticed the blue team is not quite in position yet for it. The side of the red team working their way through. Slaughter bomb from Ash, getting some positioning, but actually taking a lot of damage, and now both blue soldiers,
rolled.
they're not even in a position to do anything anymore. Agitis is gonna be falling as well, so get a salvage frag on Rakuso is for the side of Artist, but at the end of the day, this is a little bit of a crumble just all the way to last for the side of Witness here.
Yeah, it's and again, red does has the Uber at booth, but I've been surprised. This match, there's been a lot of potential pushes that could have happened that, you know, kind of haven't. So I really want to see if they actually take this. It's, you know, it's only basically 20 ads, so I don't think they are. Yeah, it looks like they're not going to. They're out.
Rakuso's on spy too.
Ah, I mean, that's
Yeah,
the power play.
they're definitely, I think both teams are definitely playing more safe. Like, they're not necessarily taking giant risks and not using really tiny ads. Especially, I think in the first push we saw it maybe from Witness with one of their pushes, but besides that, it's been pretty safe gameplay here. So Pyro on the field. I'm not sure if they're aware of the spy or if he's just playing Pyro. I think he just wants to play Pyro to counter spam. Like, he just wants to have.
He's been
the score
playing
shot.
Pyro when they had a gun, so I think their goal is that if they have the Pyro next to the gun, it's like really obnoxious to play against. Also, Rakuso's just been like standing and okay, he's on the point. He got spotted instantly. He gets through rocketed. Really unfortunate timing there from Rakuso. And looks like the Pyro's pushing out into the lobby. That's very concerning if you're the red team. Seeing that Pyro turn the corner, it's very easy to just, you know, kind of shoot a rocket. You know, I forgot that the score shot's unbanned, and the score shot is actually such an obnoxious spamming weapon. It's actually, I think it's a really good play. Yeah, they hit May, and May just takes like 80 damage.
Yeah, the afterburn can tick down a whole lot, and it can be kind of a nuisance. Like, it's a perfect storm. As Gullywash Scout on last, you can feel kind of useless sometimes in some capacity, but if you're able to air blast spam away from your gun to keep it alive, as well as, you know, scorch shots, counter spam soldiers that are peeking corners, it can be really nice to just make sure you're more effective for your defense. So definitely makes sense.
Pyro's actually, he's reflecting so much spam off of this gun. Red has like no shot of actually killing something. It looks like we have the roamer trade in lower. So,
Classic.
Really tragic for their KDs, but yeah. In the end, Rakuso's gonna get a chance to come up, maybe spy again or another off class, and yeah. Brandstam's actually reflecting so much spam here. He's doing way more work than you would think for just like a random Pyro on goalie last. And the spam from the score shot also means he's not just like, you know, an AFK player.
True. Well, I have initiation from the red team trying to get some 2-man going, working their way towards the point, but at the end of the day, unable to find anything. Just only a little bit of damage, but not quite enough to collect any kills. So blue team, they're swapping off Pyro. They're on the move to go into upper. It's actually Laz going right in with a skip. but May is going to surf back, Lad's going to get cleaned up, and that is going to be their counter sack. So just the one, going to be okay with that. Going to go ahead and go back to last, though, to continue their defense and get ready for whatever GCI is throwing at them, which appears to be the classic cat face. All right, team, go Uber exchange, and then I'm going to come up as heavy, and you're going to crit heal me. And I'm going to be 450 post. So that appears like it's going to be their strat this time.
We've seen the cat face heavy before. I don't think it was on this map. I think it was on a different map, but heavy in general
Metalworks, I think.
It's a very good kind of surprise play. So the important thing is that cat face doesn't get spotted here, because if they see it, it's you know, it's going to be a lot worse. They do spot it, but he's in the perfect position on the drop down here.
They lost Sin, though, which is very unfortunate for them wanting to post. Now they just kind of have a heavy in lobby. He has a lot of health, though, so he's not necessarily afraid. And Artist is actually going to die to Sin. Sin's getting a lot of damage on people in upper, too, so this is a little bit of a bane.
Wait, Catface is in last, just taking like a 1v2. wait, Catface is... Okay, he distracted so well there. May's on last. What is happening?
They're just pushing straight through, trying to defend the best they can is the blue team, but there's a lot of chaos happening. Sin not quite there. He was rolling out. Cap able to get Brand Slam with his last breath, but that was pretty chaotic. That honestly, that could have been much worse for the side of GCI, considering how early they lost Sin, but they salvaged just enough to make sure that blue team's actually, they have to be pretty slow. Busting out onto 2 here just because of how long it took for all their plays to respawn. To the point where they're actually not even going to commit. They realize that the red team rolls out much quicker and at a much faster pace that it's not even worth risking trying to bust out and get through until they have other people. They're going to poke around now.
Yeah, they're going to take this slow because they do have the Uber.
Yeah.
The important thing here is whether low guy does pop early. It looks like this is going to be a super high soldier bomb, but Red's already almost entirely out. Yeah, Red is so far out. It looks like now Red has a 60% Uber out to work with, and looks like they're already in there, just taking the dry fight.
Yep, trying to poke and prod through Big Door. I don't think they're committing quite yet. I think they've realized that they want to play off their ad and not necessarily try to dry early or anything like that, especially because blue team already has some positioning upper, so it might make things a little bit difficult for them to get through early. But they have it now for all intents and purposes. Trying to bust through. There's actually a lot of people over here.
Yeah, Artist did a lot of damage there.
Yep,
looks like they are going to get in, and they're not going to use here, which is the ideal thing. And they get 2. How'd they get 2? Sin Karma able to collect 2 kills, and it looks like this might be an early just push until last, but they still have a very small Uber at to work with, and they're already in, and Artist is caught out.
Artist too. Yeah, he's dropped to red HP. Are they able to collect the frag? Though, they able to get him in the shutter too. Raccoon's taking a lot of damage from the side. Yeah,
they have a soldier on the point here. This is going to look rough. That was a... Yeah, that was a nail biter at the end, but they actually, GCI managed to get it, so there's, I believe, 6 minutes in the round time, and, 2 more rounds potentially to get for GCI here.
That was a pretty good play, making sure they're able to bust through Big Door, collect those 2 soldier frags, and then continue to go as fast as possible to collect the demo as well. So all that spam just immediately removed from the map for their poster really was a good boon for them. But going into another mid, so far we've seen it very swift in either direction in terms of collecting frags, and Lad's actually going to play really fast. Actually, both of them are play extremely fast, trying to collect kills as fast as possible. Low guy will fall, Artist shot to 5 HP will fall as well. Sin, and both Sins actually expended, and everyone's just dropping like flies in this server. Our team trying to back out of the Big Door, very weak, but have the heal advantage to work off of, so I wouldn't be surprised if they begin to prod their way back into the
repush. It's 2 scouts though. It's 2 scouts, so they can't bomb in, but they're able to, it's going to be basically fighting against 2 1E5 scouts at all times. That's a tough battle to win. They do manage to get mid, so they're going to get forward spawns, but that's kind of the only consolation that Witness Game is going to get here.
Yep, they have a small window where they could do something while Sin Karma and Rakusa aren't quite there yet, but it's so small, and May already has Uber. It's really not that worth it, so it makes sense. They're just all the way back on the side of 2, but red team trying to bust through. Laz taking a lot of damage.
So low.
I don't think he landed exactly where he wanted to either, so he's going to fall and not be able to escape properly. So at the end of the day, it might be a repeat of what we're seeing so far, getting a soldier
they're
kill
coming through main. I don't know if they didn't expect it. It looks like Red's just going to be in here. They do have a pyro there blocking him at a spawn, and Cap's going to try to take point time here, and no one's really in position to block it, just a demo. And
it's just a repeat.
They get the cap.
This is some serious deja vu between rounds. I mean, granted, the first time it happened was to a much more severe degree, but this is the same thing. You push through really quickly, able to collect a soldier frag right off the bat, then move right through lobby, make sure you're able to collect early frags in your Uber and get a lot of positioning and cap time. So we're already at a tied game. Very, very swift change and turnaround from the side of GCI, but this match point for the most part. Going to see what's going to happen this mid spam going into both big doors. Actually, red team sailing out for a low guy, able to get him very low, but not quite collect the frag. Actually expending so many of their own resources.
They're so hurt.
Yeah, May getting popped into the air will get cleaned up by the side of Laz. Only 2 left alive for the side of the red team. Catface will fall, almost able to take down Brand Slam, but not quite enough. Sin on the complete other side of the map will opt to go ahead and get out with his life. So far, the trend has been the same. Both teams wanted to sell out very, very quick for very particular key frags that they're going for, depending on their mid.
Yeah, I was honestly kind of impressed with the, kind of a risky play to go their side as red team, because, they just got the round, they were down 1-2, and last mid they went up their side and was very successful. This mid, it initially worked really well going their side again, but I think Blue was ready for it this time. They kind of, were expecting, looks like here comes another main Uber, but no one's really getting caught up by this, but also everyone's kind of locked in spawn here.
Yeah, they're all just in the same area. Cactus gonna come up and heavy, go down Ash, but the Laz on the point, able to cause that distraction and get so much damage on to the red players. Only 2 left alive, 4v2 scenario. 98 a little bit too much.
But he has the head. He can't.
Oh.
If he had Uber Saw, maybe he could have done something, but he had the head, unable to, get that last 2%, and that's going to be a 3-2 for Witness Gaming for the first half, a very close half.
That would have been a very clutch play if he would have gotten that, but you're right, that was... I almost thought we were going to see GCI turn around, honestly. Those last 2 rounds, they were able to switch things up. They kind of fixed their mids a little bit. They were able to put on a good show, making sure that they rolled from mid to last in a very swift fashion, able to collect some frags on a Witness, but at the end of the day, be able to come out on top on mid in a good enough of a way, you can kind of roll things at last and get around very quickly, complete in the opposite direction. And Witness Gaming just coming out just a little bit more on top than the side of Globalclan. I just read the stats on the screen right now to kind of see what's up. Artist is actually leading the damage right now in the server, 311, entering the 300 DPM club. Kills are pretty much... both teams pretty much have someone on the top. Yite and Cap are going to be the ones collecting the frags for their respective teams, and got people following behind in that regard. Medic deaths... I'd say that the gap of 4 is relatively even, although Lol Guy is leading a bit, so it definitely makes sense considering Ubers are such an important factor, and see Lol Guy living more and his team has more rounds, so I guess it makes sense in that regard. See any other stats that catch your eye in terms of what we got here?
Everyone's actually really close, other than maybe the damage between the demos, but even then, I wouldn't say that Sin Karma's having a bad game. It just might be the artist is either, he's being more aggressive to get more spam. I think that both demos, even though the damage is different, I think they're having kind of similar games. I will say though that the damage difference is like,
I mean, Sin Karma's been on last, which is like,
yeah, he's been on last, and he has to put traps. Yeah,
if your demo on last, you can't get any damage really. Like you can only counter initiate damage, or artist is like trying to spam the gun the whole time. So it makes a little bit of sense, but it also makes sense because Witness has been getting more last pushes, so.
Artist just has had more opportunities to farm all that damage. Sin Karma's had to play the 8 stickies on point kind of defensive role. It's limited to spam. So again, I think the demos are pretty even here. I mean, considering it's a 3-2, it's kind of what I expect when I say the stats are pretty even. All the soldiers kind of have pretty similar stats around the board. All the like the flank skets and pocket skets are all kind of like next to each other. So it's really just an even match.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down less to stats and more to what we're actually seeing when it comes to the execution of what you're trying to do in the server. So both teams got a little bit of a moment to adapt, to try to fix some things. We've seen pretty much a fast pace from both these teams for mids, or at least maybe not in the earlier attempts. Maybe GCI was like slightly slower at the start of the match, but going into the second half, what do you expect to see from any of the teams when it comes to potential changes that might be thrown up on the board to try to, give yourself an edge over the opponent?
We might see a change in the mid strat, because the last 2 mids, GCI's elected to go onto Witness Gaming's side of mid, the kind of the opposite side of mid. And last time it didn't work out for them, so I don't know if they're gonna do it again. It's kind of interesting to see whether they actually, how do I put it? It's kind of more of it's a bigger balls play. It's more risky. I'm not sure if they want to do that now that they actually have some rounds.
It's definitely true. The pace will definitely come into play. It's going to be interesting to see the point where, because we've seen a lot of slow paced and low risk taking, at least so far in the first half, but that's because you can really afford to and you're not really forced to do anything different. But now we might get to a point where if someone's about to necessarily if they're gonna win just because of they're at 4 and they're at the opponent's last, might see a team in a pretty well compromised position where they're forced to do something really high risk or do something unorthodox to attempt to put themselves back in the game. So looking forward to a position like that, we can see what teams are going to be able to do while the stakes are really high and it's really stressful to try to accomplish something. But going into the mid of the second half, curious to see if anything's going to change and who will come on top this time. Space Ghost.
Yeah, we see Laz electing to kind of waddle underneath it. Recruso's actually like standing like, okay, they did spot him, I was going to say. Recruso trying to go for a cheeky play there, but they happen to spot him. And Sin's going to do a big bomb directly onto the blue team. Actually manages to get away too. But Recruso's going to fall, and there's a soldier behind. So now the red team's kind of in a bad position. They might get, yeah, it looks like they are actively getting pinched.
Got some early kills, giving them some advantage later on in this fight, but things are starting to trickle down for the side of GCI. Able to get a last frag in Catface onto Asp. At the end of the day, a 1 fight for the side of Witness. Laz actually very, very deep, skipping in to the side of the red team's upper river area, trying to apply some spam and pressure.
They're trying to fight this, and Artis is kind of caught in. Artis is, he gets saved by both the last second. He was almost dead to rights there.
That's a pretty spooky scenario.
Yeah, Red wisely though gonna like to back up the last. They tried to get their opportunity. If they got that demo pick, they probably would have pushed. But once that demo, once Artis managed to live, they sounded the bell and backed up. Now they're sitting very content with their gun. I will say it's kind of interesting that Red Team does not like to have a pyro, whereas Witness Gaming is much more happy to just have the pyro next to the gun. I'm surprised that they don't have like a designated pyro off classer. Looks like Yikes underneath the point. I don't know if they know.
They probably know it at this point, especially because Laz just got under it, so they're definitely moving Rakusa there to apply some spam. And
Laz tried the bomb and instantly got denied by the sentry gun, but Yikes still underneath the point. I kind of like this because they have to look at all the doors now, which kind of stresses the defense.
Oh, he's in, but there are people in spawn, so not able to quite find what he's looking for. Able to get Rakusa though, he has Yikes, so enough damage to collect that frag, but not enough to get what they're looking for. So red team on the move in lobby cap. This is why they're on power. They want to take things really fast, and they're actually thinking about maybe poking, prodding, and upper, but I think they realize that the position is not quite good enough for them to go ahead and work with. So gonna play it safe still for now to go ahead and sit on last. Go ahead and rebuild the sentry gun to get ready for what Witness Gaming is gonna throw at them.
Yeah, no offensive Witness Gaming, so we're probably gonna see another double sack or even single sack before. I don't see actually rig off. Did they get? No, they didn't get forced. I just saw a shiny player for a second. Yeah, it looks like they're just gonna elect to take a second. They haven't done it yet. Laz is in water. I think they've spotted it. Ash dies to a trap somehow. I didn't see what happened.
I didn't see either. I can't even see his gun. But either way, it does. Oh, he's in Shutter. He died in Shutter, I think.
Oh, okay.
So Rakusa on the move and Baby Door. Red team are trying to get something good going for them. Actually, Yike taking a lot of damage.
Oh, he gets that splash. That was
onto the ramp.
That was like across the map, kind of maximum range splash rocket. It looks like Red might try to push out on this, or at least poke and prod. It looks like Rakusa's behind. I don't know if they know. He's gonna get Ash too. So Rakusa making a lot of miracle plays out here.
He's almost getting out. He's barely caught by Laz, but Laz actually staying inside Baby Door. A lot of damage onto the Seattle Soldier. Yeah, he's pretty much caught. He's gonna die. He's gonna shot by Cat. So no soldiers for the side of the blue team. And it's something for the red team to try to push off of Sin on the move, trying to work his way onto Brandslam.
He gets the force two just off of the damage on the scout. Wall guy not willing to drop the Brandslam. And this milk from May. Oh, Brandslam, no, and he dies. May didn't even use. Oh no, this is a disaster.
Yeah, I think he tried to go for Sin to get the damage in to get them to force onto Sin, but I think he missed a shot or two, so it just wasn't enough damage to make May actually want to use. So, and he was also alone, so it was just him doing the damage. So May unable to, or it's unnecessary to go ahead and use there, and they get to keep it and use it, try to push into.
Look at the drop down. I don't know if they spotted. Okay, looks like they have spotted it. Bull Soldier's actually above, so May gonna get forced to actually very close to dropping there, and they're gonna get at least 2 soldiers for it, so they're gonna be able to get something for it.
Oh, they're onto 2. They're immediately going behind.
I don't know if they know.
Mid team's pushing forward. Blue team's just pushing forward straight, but all the way the rat play is working out. Yike, drawing so many eyes and players back. Yep, Artist stuffing this choke actually. Drop down once again.
He doesn't know that though.
But they're getting stuffed. Blue team, this is so much chaos. Ball guy barely escaping range, able to collect the kill onto Sin. This Artist is just in the entirety of the red team, almost getting Rakusa with a roller. But at the end of the day, that was a lot of chaos for the side of the blue team, and they're gonna lose a lot for it, and not necessarily get the back cap. but at least they're able to maintain little guys staying alive despite losing mid, so they can, you know,
Yeah.
kind of push back once they get their players. But for A team, I think they recognize that there's 2 players rolling
Caffey's
out.
behind.
He wants to get Artist,
Oh,
maybe.
he's gonna walk into Brand Slam, hit him for the 104, and then back up. Caffey's actually a little caught out by Artist, so he's gonna drop early, and Boo actually pops the Uber. May's so hurt, he doesn't get his Uber off.
Though, so much damage onto those players. 2 left alive for the side of the red team, both soldiers up. Sin actually just opting to completely escape, just pogo past the enemy team and get out with the sniper.
Rakuso's not long for this one. Actually, he might? Oh,
dude, he
wow,
did the
he
same.
lived.
Wow, alright, they just jump out.
That's times 8 on the point, that rare and famed times 8. It looks like the blue team is gonna probably take second uncontested here. Although they do have a sniper in the forwards. I don't know if they did spot him. And there's a soldier in the forwards. Curious up. Okay, Cafe is. Oh, he's gonna.
6.
I thought he was gonna hide, but he just didn't use his Banny Bind for some reason.
6 HP is a little bit too low to work with. So, blue team does have, you know, a pretty good position for themselves. Full Uber, 60% ad. It's dwindling though, so they gotta make sure they play this
Red
fast.
team's like in lobby, and they kind of used into, you know, red team's behind him. This is a very awkward situation for blue, because they might get pinched here and they don't even know it. Laz is gonna go on the point though, and no one's really in a position to fight it.
Yeah, Artist has already fallen, so no stickies to help Laz with this cap, getting some damage onto the point from the people who have initiated on his 3v3 scenario, but no one is around to spare Brand Slam to continue this fight. So I think you're right, it was a bit of a weird situation for the side of the blue team to be in, but Brand Slam actually almost killing Sin. What the heck? Alright, well at the end of the day, as successfully held point from the side of GCI, all shenanigans aside, able to get their players up and make sure they're able to use this onto 2 to try to take back the second point. When Witness Gaming, on the other hand, are on the back foot, even though they have, you know, they got some wiggle room to work with for the points, but red team on the move.
Look at the trap from Artist. It's like under the shutter, so when you open the shutter, you're gonna die. And Laz is actually in like the funny hiding spot. I don't know if they know, and Red's actually eating so much damage. This is a dry push essentially. And look at Laz. He gets the force for free. Like he does trade his life for it, but this is gonna be a tough force for Red.
And Blue's just staying in. They have an Uber over their own.
They've
wasted enough time.
To the very end. That was a, you know.
And they're going straight for Sin as well, trying to chase him. The red team knows to
Oh,
work
Red's
away
in
in a lobby.
lobby. May's so hurt, and he's gonna die.
They're collecting some frags.
Gates on last.
Yep, yeah, drawing some people back to last to create enough cast for Brand Slam to maybe get Rakuso. Not quite. It's still taking forever.
Yeah, Caps is kind of barreling down lobby river here. Okay, he does manage to get it. So this is going to be a push out. You know, they're trading, you know, Uber to sad for second, which, you know, that's pretty acceptable. Being on last, especially in a match like this where it's so close, is definitely pretty stressful. So, and also it's not that big of an Uber to set. It's like 30%. Like Blue can push off of it, but Red definitely can kite this.
Yeah. Overall, I think it was a good play from the red team, like the idea of meeting them in lobby, because you know they're going to go for your demo, but Witness Gaming making sure that if they're gonna get any frag at all, it definitely needed to be May, and that's the one they did get. So they're still there, like you said, they're in a position where they have an opportunity. They're poking and prodding through Big Door right now to see how open it looks, and they're on the move. Pretty much most their team is in. They're bombing through upper right off the bat.
They didn't know that
no
Red
one's
just backed
there.
up.
Yeah, they're just all the
Rakuso's
way
gonna
out.
get. Oh, Rakuso gets 2-shot. He almost gets. Yeah, I just, you know, Rakuso kind of got scout class there. He made a really good play, but, you know, got the unfortunate Tibby too. Looks like Red's gonna push out here. Both teams down a roamer, down a soldier, and they're gonna get catface immediately. That might spell disaster for this push, but Sin's just in anyway.
Sin. A little bit of damage on him, but not quite enough to make him use, and it seems like that's going to be all she wrote for Red's push. They're pretty much out for the most part.
50% though. This is still pushable. They just need to.
Yeah, but they're waiting a little bit. They're actually rotating all the way through lower. Yeah, just existing forever. Okay, yeah, they're able to collect that frag, but once again, Ash going in, able to collect that frag, and that is
Sin's
going to be
behind, doing massive damage.
Wait, what?
Look at this Uber.
I didn't even notice he was behind. Neither did I. All right, well, okay. The camera caught. He flanked Big Door. That's what it was. He flanked Big Door.
The chaos from Red is really, it's making it kind of hard to cast, but it's great to watch. And they do have a sniper in forward Witness Gaming, so if they're not careful, Yike might. Oh, Yike May actually peeked Yike, but Yike was not able to get the shot off. You know, honestly, that's more tilting than just like not being able to get the shot. If you get the shot and then miss.
GCI's patience is really paying off after they lost their scout, just making sure they delay like 10 seconds before they Uber and rush it out to make sure they can like get the rest of their players going. It's put themselves in a pretty good spot here on the opponent's second. They still have an ad to work with. It's only 30 or so, but it's still possible to use. I think they're trying to spot and looking for a gun spot is Rakuso, not able to quite find it, but he's not too far away, so able to get an idea of where at least it isn't at the very least, but River's gonna be
I
the
think
push.
they're gonna pop double scout Uber, kind of interesting. They must really not like that pyro, and they do get the Uber. They're gonna try to get point pressure. Last gonna drop a little bit low. They're gonna get caps, and May is down. This might be a disaster of a push. They do get 2 there. That's pretty much all they're gonna get. Just Zen Karma, you know. He's also dead. That's a full wipe for Red, you know. I think I understood why they took the double scout. They didn't want the pyro, because if you take a demo, it's like, why bother? But, you know, they just took too long to kill the gun because it's 2 scouts.
They dropped so many players at once. Well, I saw like 5 players on the same respawn timer, so they definitely had people inside each other's models as well, eating the same damage. And the collapse in Witness Gaming was pretty swift. They only dropped 2 players in that regard, so Witness Gaming, well, they might be on their own too. They have an Uber ad to work with, just have to build it the rest of the way up. 40%, nothing to shake your finger at, so you can still have something good going for you and try to build it up to try to push in if you so desire. I'd be surprised if they didn't push off this. Looks like Choke is going to be the way they want to go, otherwise they've been a big door already.
They make it forced early. Looks like Blue Soldier is going to be down through Choke. He's actually going to kind of counter jump these 2 soldiers. And actually, that was a really smart play from that Blue Soldier because he was able
Rakuso,
to...
though.
Oh, he does get the force in the end. Unlucky, but yeah. Okay, so Red does have their Uber ad, but can they block this incoming kind of pressure with down 2 soldiers? And they have really unfortunate respawn timers too.
It's a little rough when you don't have any soldiers. Probably have to just wait for your people to respawn before you're actually able to go. And for the side of Witness, it's difficult. You want to be able to try to force them all they're down to, but you're down 1 yourself. So it just kind of leaves both teams in limbo, just waiting for everyone to get, back to mid and second respectively before anything really happens. But GCI have all their players. Gonna be Choke. It's gonna be their door of choice. Have a scout moving through.
Trying to barrel through the soldiers. Yeah.
May's just running through with
They did a
caps
smart
in tow.
job waiting at the soldier spam. They all kind of said they do get Sin Karma with the trap though, but I think they're just gonna like to stand mid. But this is gonna be a dry fight. Wall guy's really close to his Uber, and Rakusa's gonna die too. This is kind of turning disastrous. They lost 3 and no one's popped an Uber yet.
It's a little bit of a crumble, able
May.
to get these last 2 players. Yeah, Catface is behind, able to get Laz, but
and he's caught out. He's gonna have to use here.
yeah, unfortunate. Oh, they're trying to. I thought he was gonna body block for a second, but at the end of the day, no. Sin actually going not the same direction
Catface
as
is behind.
May.
They do.
Yeah, they do. He's trying to fight guide at mid
Ooh, he
right now.
does get
Actually
the
able to
kill
get
in there.
that. Not able to back cap though. Too much cap time for the side of Witness Gaming, as they're already quite well established on 2. So fight onto Laz from Catface will fall. So it's gonna spell the end of his adventures behind. So Uberat for the side of Witness. Globalclan Ice is actually really aggressive right now inside lobby. You have to be kind of careful. If you get too close, you could get Ubered on, but gonna go ahead and back up and make sure you're A-okay on last. Laz are actually already in underneath, so Witness
Sin
Gaming
Karma trying to shoot him.
Yep, trying to bomb through the river, trying to get some damage and apply it
Look at their
onto
Ubers
these
going under
players.
the
There's so
paint,
many
getting Sin
people.
Karma for free.
They're just collecting. They know the frags they want to collect right off the bat. Just going straight to the point, able to collect 2 frags before their Uber is even over, and they definitely have that very well planned out to collect another round on the board for themselves.
It's a close match, but it's a 4-2 match point for Witness Gaming. So GCS gonna whatever stress they have remaining, they're gonna have to pull them out here if they want to have a chance of winning this match. They need to pick up 2 rounds minimum.
Yep, we've seen pretty, swift rounds before, and they would definitely need that on their side, but curious to see what's going to happen this mid. Both soldiers actually going really aggressive to try to apply themselves and get some damage on the other team. Both demos dropping extremely low
Laz
HP.
bumped his head, but he's gonna get a clean bomb in anyway. Is that pause or whatever? I don't know what
Server
happened.
stutter?
Yeah, server stutter.
Alright, still applying themselves. May dropped all the way dead, so no heals for the side of the red team. Ash is going to fall, so it's really difficult for red to do anything at this moment.
Yeah, they're getting
dead.
very hurt here. The health is dropping down slowly. They're trying to go for a pinch here. Catface is behind, but I don't know. Oh, they're both behind. Ooh, and one pipe manages to get 2 kills there. That's a lost mid for GCI. May's going to spawn alone too, so the Zuberet's going to get even worse as he has no one to heal.
Yep. They got some consolation frags on the Witness Gaming, but at the end of the day, that very early kill on the May kind of net Witness Gaming their victory. I didn't really see who killed him. Took a look at I think it was Ash, maybe? No, that was and I'm looking at my console. I can't see it. There's too many lines in here to actually read this properly. But either way, at the end of the day, full Ubrad for the side of Witness Game. We've seen a lot of river pushes. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it once again. It looks like they're gearing up for it. So this could be it, depending on how well the Uber goes.
Yeah, it's interesting that GCI actually has managed to get a pyro here, and the pyro does kind of die instantly, but he does buy enough time that Red does have a decent shot of holding this, although this point pressure from Blue, they're gonna get Laz and it's just all chaos, but someone did a lot of damage there because I saw Red's health drop in a second.
Yep, 2 players left alive, both in water. Sin will fall, and the other Sin will fall as well. So, Witness Gaming able to take this match at the end of the day, 5-2, come out on top, make sure their second seed is solidified, and GCI are still going to have to continue to fight on to make sure that their 4th seed is solidified as well.
Yeah. Kind of like I said at the very beginning, that was a 5-2. That was closer than the score would indicate, I would say. GCI just wasn't able to, kind of like turn all the good plays they made into rounds, especially in that second half.
I think we showed, like, Witness Gaming came on top a little bit in the beginning, and then I think GCI showed promise. Like, they showed some adaptation to bring themselves back and get themselves those 2 rounds. But then I think Witness kind of recognized, like, oh, okay, they've changed this about... I mean, I think it was mostly the mids, honestly. So much of this was just setting yourselves up on the mid. Because if you can just set yourselves up on the other side of the map, then you don't have to worry about going backwards, meaning that you lose a round. So I think it was just an adaptation battle.
Yeah, GCI also really liked to take Witness Gaming side on mid. They kind of walked up their side, and they kept doing it. It was working at first, but I think towards the end, Witness Gaming kind of expected, whatever GCI's mid was, and they kind of adapted to it really well.
It was a lot of those very quick early kills. Like, it was usually either a medic or a demo that would just immediately die, just right off the bat. Like, I think that's can be said for both teams as well. Both teams, like, kind of knew that, oh, I either want to... Whatever your plan is, either medic or demo, just kill them quickly and then use that to continue to win the rest of the mid, either from the lack of spam or the lack of heals. And it seems like Witness Gaming kind of came up on top in that regard. Can we go ahead and look at the logs for the second half? It's a little bit more of a one-sided game, even though it was only 2 rounds when it comes to the second half. So actually have some more people entering the 300 DPM club. It's going to be both for the side of Witness Gaming, though. So it's going to be good for them and makes sense while they're able to collect the 2 rounds to close out the game there.
Yeah, I'm looking at the stats here. I see the biggest difference is, again, the damage between Artist and Sin. I think the first round was a little more excusable, but this half definitely under 192 DPM is not what you want to see from a demo. Granted, I don't know what was happening. Maybe that was like, whatever Sin Karma's role didn't allow him to do damage. I didn't really see what happened, but it was definitely whatever was happening. Artist was having a good old time.
Yeah, he was definitely putting on a lot of damage. There was actually a lot of... I feel like these demomen kind of, like, as much as the teams played kind of safe, I feel like both these demomen kind of played a little dangerous sometimes.
I agree. They were peeking a lot in front of everyone. I think we have Zilly Chang here for an interview.
Welcome, Zilly. Are you here to talk about your boys' Witness?
Yeah, it was easy dub, capstone ever. You guys are all dog shit, and later.
Oh, thank you, Zilly, thank you.
Yeah, I'll love to hear it. Oh, that was Zilly Chang for our interview, and
very swift.
Very swift and to the point.
Yep. I mean, realistically, the game, there comes a certain point where you kind of just know what teams are going to be saying, so it kind of makes sense. The interviews they're quicker nowadays. They're quicker and quicker later on to the end of the season. This was neither team necessarily needed to win this per se to put themselves in a good spot. It would have just been nice for them going into the playoffs race, but I think there are going to be more important matches with more implications later on. I think okay, tomorrow isn't a good example of that because I think tomorrow is Freo versus Ford. I think the one after that has some implications, like Ford versus the Jug Dealers. I think the Jug Dealers
yeah,
win
Jug
that.
Dealers have some upset potential. They could they could really shake up playoff seedings, and if they play their cards right, they could even make playoffs if they kind of went on a big miracle run for the end of their season.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be one of the important matches because when it comes to the race in general, I think Witness at this point are pretty much solidified in their spot. It's just pretty much, is Globalclan Ice going to get 4th, or is Jug Dealers going to come and snipe it? Right now, Jug Dealers would need to beat Globalclan Ice, and they'd need to beat Ford, or like hope that Ice loses to Cat Posse or something, which is there's a lot to ask for. It's technically possible though, so it's something to keep our eyes on. So the Thursday match is going to be important because that's going to be one of the conditions for who gets the 4th seed at the end of the day. Even though there's a lot of conditions that would need to be met, but I think I mean, if that's the interview, really, then I guess next is the shout out. I guess next is wrapping up and going into the shout out phase and letting everyone go for the night. Space Ghost, do you have any shout outs before we close things up?
Shout out to production, shout out to all that. Shout out to skis, I guess.
Always the classic ski shout out.
You gotta give the skis shout out.
Yeah, definitely shout out to Dolphin and all the viewers for hanging out and watching with us, and obviously all the teams for showing up and playing their matches and stuff and letting us cast them. Wouldn't really have a whole lot of content to show you guys if they weren't necessarily playing any of the matches and weren't participating in the league. So thanks for the multiple weeks of content for us to hang out and watch with all of you guys. If you want to watch more sixes, definitely, like I said before, check out tomorrow. I think tomorrow's Ford versus Froyo, and then after that is Ford versus the Jug Dealers. So some good content and some close matches to be seen later in the week, in the upcoming days. But for tonight, that is going to be it for us. I have been Jarrett, casting with Space Ghost. Thank you and good night.
Good night.